I clicked it. And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, welcome. Let's wait for some people to hop in here. We got 5 people. Cheyenne says Georgie for president. Valid. I
He didn't look
think
awful.
can't think of any better candidate to lead our country than Georgie Monongu. Cheyenne is not here today. He's off doing Cheyenne things. I'm not sure again exactly what those are, but I guess maybe one day he'll tell us. He'll sit down and tell us all. Okay. What do we got here? Ryan Kent Stinker. Listen, look, we'll get into all that stuff, but ladies and gentlemen, I know you're all just joining in, but welcome to the post-game live reaction of the Seattle Sounders versus Portland Timbers rivalry weekend match as the Sounders tied the Timbers 1-1. And honestly, J. Ross, once when Santi Moreno scored that goal, I thought we were in for like a 2-2, 3-2, 3-3 type of game.
Yeah.
And then the shit just kind of doled out a little bit. Like,
Yeah, the game got
there's
boring
half
quick.
chances here and there, but yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of it was typical Portland, where Portland was just trying to make the game boring and ugly, and then I don't know. We kind of fell into like old Sounders ways too, just going back and forth, just kind of a boring game. But
a bit of a boring game, but nonetheless, Seattle Sounders get a point on the road against Portland, which there's two ways you could look at this, in my opinion. The first is coming off the back of an absolute ass whooping, to go on the road against a tough team to get a point. It's a fine result. I mean, it's nothing that you're super amped about, but at the same time, this felt like a game that we easily could have won had we, been a bit more clinical in some areas. But J. Ross, overall, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the game today?
The other side of the coin, which is my opinion, is we rested so many guys in the midweek for that LAFC game to get dismantled midweek, clearly putting all of our eggs in the basket of this game. Where, okay, yeah, like I'm not disappointed with a tie on the road at Portland, but I'm not happy with it, where it's like we rested so many guys and basically threw away 3 points at LAFC, just gave up on it, and then only got 1 point from this matchup, where it's kind of like, I don't know. Usually in regular context, tying away at Portland isn't terrible, but I would have liked to see more given the situation.
Yeah, I mean, listen, from the standpoint of a road trip to get 4 points, it's okay. It's all right. It's nothing. It's not terrible, but it's nothing to write home about. Listen, man, it's for a team that wants to have title aspirations. This kind of a road trip, you want 6 points at least. You know what I mean? And like you're saying, the point about resting our guys, just kind of punting the LAFC game, which, to be honest, like felt like a game with the form that we were in. Is a game that we could have won. Our first game, our first time winning in LA could have been midweek, but yeah, I mean, we just punted away that game just to come here, and we started pretty much everybody. I mean, the only start that I didn't necessarily love was Ferreira out on the right, but to be honest, I thought he was all right, all things considered. But for a full strength lineup, you would have loved to have more than just a point, but it's mid. I don't know. I mean, I wish I had more to say, guys. I really do, but it's just a bit mid.
It felt like we had a full team of guys who went out there and played okay. Like no one really. I thought Christian Roldan until the last couple minutes, I thought played really well. But even like Ryan Kent felt like really boring to me. He didn't look like the Ryan Kent we've seen the last couple of games, which don't really know the reason of that. It just felt like a bunch of guys who were okay at best. Musovski, I thought, played pretty good, but he definitely had moments where we saw flashes of like last year's Musovski, but he also had moments where it was like, oh, okay, like he's definitely turned the corner here. It's kind of like I don't know what to feel after this game.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. The one player that I thought was absolutely exceptional was Christian Roldan. I mean, he was absolutely everywhere, and then obviously that pass to Musovski was actually insane. Listen, I know we all love Christian, but that kind of pass, bro, Loki didn't even know he had that in his locker. Like I was a bit unfamiliar with this game right there. I'm not gonna lie, as good as he has been for us, but other than that, yeah, I mean, it's just a bit average, I guess. Yeah, build CR7 statue. He is our team. He was everywhere today. Absolutely, he's the one dude where you come away from the game and he was absolutely a cut above the rest of everybody on the field for both teams, I think. But let's get into some talking points here. First and foremost, Ryan Kent stinker. What happened to Ryan Kent? The teams have tape on Ryan Kent now. Listen, a part of me, as much as he showed for us in the few games, that stretch where he looked absolutely dynamic and looked like the best player on the team, we do have to remember a bit that he is a guy that hasn't played much competitive football for nearly an entire year. Like that at this level, bro, at the professional level, like that is some tough shit. Going up like almost a full year without much game time, like that does a lot to a player. And it just looked like his touches, like yeah, he had some good touches, but it looked like he was kind of getting caught, like the ball caught up on his feet or under his feet a bit, um, and just kind of dribbling in areas where he didn't necessarily have to dribble. It wasn't the best for Ken, but I think I thought it was a horrid like first 25, 30 minutes, and then he kind of grew into the game a little bit. I thought like he set up Musovski for a decent chance and played a couple balls on that were nice. But I think as more time goes on, just more starts he gets, the more minutes he gets to build, you'll see the consistency come. But I mean, I still think from the eye test, like the dude's suit, like for the most part, very very clean on his touches, very very quick. Like I think it'll be fine. I think he'll be fine, obviously, but
You can tell that he's a high level player in this league. Even when he gets on the ball, the way teams
yeah,
treat him in possession compared to like not to shoot you strays, but like Rothrock and possession on the wing, like you can tell they game plan differently for him. And you can just even the way he passes the ball when he's like dribbling at high speeds, like you can just see that he's a cut above a lot of players. But it's the same thing we talked about when we signed him, right? Like just like you just said, he's coming off a long stretch of not playing. He's had a bunch of inconsistencies over the last 2 years or so. His ceiling is really high. His floor is also really low. And I think this just happened to be one of those games where he kind of fell a little bit lower than what we expected, bouncing off of a couple performances that were closer to his ceiling.
Yeah, I think since we've seen that ceiling, I don't feel any need to panic at all. To be honest with you, if honestly Ryan Kent, if he had games like this for the first few games, I wouldn't have been surprised either. To be honest with you, because he had such a long layoff from playing at a high level. But since we've seen those high level games, those assists from Ryan Kent, those clean dribbles and touches, and the ability to create a lot of chances, I don't see like something like this. Teams that have tape on Ryan Kent, like I wouldn't really worry about this too much, to be honest with you. Like, I think as he builds more and more consistency, he'll be fine for sure.
We're also talking about a guy who's played at some high levels across Europe. Like he has plenty of experience. He'll definitely figure it out. We see some things people talking about him in Clamp today. Like he just hasn't played in a while, right? He's getting back into it. And
yeah, exactly.
He definitely even today, like even in a game where we agree he may not have played at his ceiling, he still had flashes where it was like Ryan Kent. Like he's going to be good for us.
Yeah.
And even if today was a off day, you could tell what he provides. This is one thing that scares me. Schmetzer now 9-14-7 against the Timbers. So we mentioned it earlier, but we rested all these players midweek, clearly respecting Portland. The fear of playing Portland was in the back of our head, and then we went out and tied. It's like this Timbers we're in a stretch right now where we're almost scared to play them, as sad as that sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of why I was slightly disappointed with a 1-1 draw. Like, I don't know. I just was looking forward to us going out guns a-blazing and get the win. And it's crazy to say that we weren't quite happy with a 1-1 draw at Portland. That's kind of just how I felt. And 9-14-7 all time against Timbers is not a good look.
Yeah, and it just makes me Honestly, I was a bit also I want to talk about a bit disappointed with the subs. Like I really kind of wish guys like Pedro came in earlier. I kind of wish um even though he had a rough start to the game, I do wish that we got to see more of Kent, like 80, almost, if not the full 90, to be honest with you. And then you take off Masowski, who, yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously he didn't score, but was showing some decent hold up play at the very least. And you know, just to take him off and not even replace him with Osase, just to bring in Georgie, and then you have no presence up top. It's like stuff like that. It's just like, why are we why are we playing for the draw, especially when you rested all these guys and punted away a game just to kind of hold for a draw? It felt like almost. I mean, it's just a bit disappointing, and I want to bring this up real quick.
Well, before we get on the next talking point, why don't we introduce someone else to the conversation? We have someone in the lobby.
All right, we have a special guest, Will from MLS Moves. Will, happy to have you here.
What's up, guys?
Sure, not much, man. Hey, listen, I'm sure you got a lot of stuff to say. So honestly, before we even get to anything else, I'm just gonna give you the floor. Go ahead and rip into the Sounders, whatever you want to say. The floor is yours.
Well, I'm not going to necessarily rip into them tonight. I think some guys, this was a pretty strong lineup, obviously. I thought they didn't look completely terrible. They looked a lot better than they did, obviously, Wednesday night. But it kind of goes back to what I said to you and Cheyenne on Wednesday night. This team, I just don't think they're good on the road this year. They haven't really beaten anybody good on the road this season. And this is your biggest rival. You come away with a point, but I was thinking, especially because of what the gauntlet they're going to run this summer, playing in the FIFA Club World Cup, and they're going to get absolutely fucking smoked this summer. They needed some sort of confidence boost to go into that this summer. And you have 2 games where you come away with 1 point, and you were outscored. Let's see, what was I'm trying to block it out of my memory. What was the score of the game the other night against LAFC?
4-0, I believe.
4-0. Okay, so you outscored 5-1 in your last 2 games. Not necessarily the momentum not the way you're wanting to trend heading into the summer. You're probably not going to make any moves this summer. We talked about that the other night as well. This is your team, and this is just pitiful. And I told you the other night, I said, not playing Masovsky after he had been red hot for like 5 games, just absolutely killing his momentum. And what happened tonight? He didn't score. This is the first game he started in like the last 6 starts that he did not score a goal. Rusnak didn't look terrible. I think he was pretty decent. Ferreira was absolutely terrible again. I mean, just does nothing for you guys. I don't think. This team is just pieced together with like fucking glue, dude. It's like you glued their arm back on instead of like stitching it back up. Team has a lot of issues, and I just don't know what they're going to do this summer to fix any of this.
The thing that I feel is the biggest problem with us right now, and I've said this in prior streams, is I feel like previous iterations of the Sounders, like prime Nico days, prime Rui Diaz days, even prime Oba days, the Sounders always got that timely goal. Like they had the guy who, okay, even if he isn't have the most goals on the team, it's like when the Sounders needed a goal to change a game, they always got that. And it feels like for a couple years now, we haven't had that. You saw that even last year, the flash of old Rui Diaz when we were away at Portland got that big goal. And it kind of just feels like the Sounders are lacking that guy who has a little of that clutch factor. Like away at Portland, the guy might have our back against the wall, is going to pull a play out of nowhere and put it in the back of the net. And I feel like that's something we're lacking right now.
Well, and I just hopped on, not to cut you off, Brody, but I just was on a Atlanta United podcast or a space like an hour ago. And we were talking about how, because I think these 2 teams are very similar, because the guy who constructed both teams is Garth Lagerwey. I mean, this is pretty much Garth's team still. Like a lot of the core guys, people he brought in is still on this team. I think that they have a lot of similarities because Seattle doesn't have a dog, like you're saying. They don't have that guy. They just don't have a leader. Like, who is the leader on this team? It sure as hell isn't Roldan. Now, Roldan does some crazy shit sometimes where you think maybe he could be the guy, but he's not the true guy because he can't take over a game. You need a leader, like you said, with Nico Ladero. Hell, even Clint Dempsey back in the day put his heart on his sleeve, left it out on the pitch, like take over a game, especially when he was playing with Obafemi Martins. They just don't have that guy, the X factor guy right now. They don't have it. And I don't know if they thought Rusnak was going to be that guy because he was pretty good at RSL. Like he was a very effective player. I mean, this might just be me, but I don't even think Rusnak is as good as he was at RSL in his Seattle tenure. I think he was a much better player in his when he was playing for RSL. They just need a guy. They need another Nico Ladero. They need a guy like that. Pedro de la Vega, huge fucking disappointment. Just total bust. I think he's a bust. And they're a cheap team now. They're not spending money like they used to, which I got into a debate with someone who covers the team about that because they tried to tell me that this team never really had ambition. And I just could not disagree with that more, or I couldn't disagree with that more than what, they definitely used to have ambition. They were definitely a team that spent money and was a trendsetter in Major League Soccer. I mean, they signed Clint Dempsey in 2013 for $9 million when Major League Soccer, most teams never spent $2 million on a designated player. They were spending $9 million back in 2013. So I just can't believe we're in a spot where the team, well, first of all, they have no heart. They're not fun to watch and they don't spend money. They spend less money in 2025 than they did in 2013. Absolutely blows my fucking mind.
Well, what's crazy too is like this MLS implements the whole U22 ordeal, right? You're telling me the Seattle Sounders Club World Cup team have 0 on our roster. We have an added transfer window. This is a topic that me and Brody have been talking about a lot the last couple of days. If we don't see the Sounders put some money in over this 10-day implemented transfer window, it really sums up the state of the Sounders as a club right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to touch about, like, I feel like we're all kind of in agreement with this team has these like supplemental, like for example, that pivot that you have with Christian and Oba, that's great to have as like the core of your team. And then you have the back line, obviously. You got Steph, who's still kicking. But we don't have that, like you said, X factor. We don't have that guy that just can come in and change a stalemate like this 1-on-1 when you need a goal in a huge moment and find a split opportunity to find a way to put the ball in the back of the net. And it just time and time again, and we just get back to the same point where it's this roster construction, like guys that you're paying money who you shouldn't be paying money to. I mean, biggest example, Jordan Morris. I mean, obviously been injured a lot this year, but you're seeing like serviceable level of replacement from a guy who's making $300-something thousand a year. And it's like, you're not, obviously I think Jordan at his best gives you a higher ceiling. He's got more of the dynamic that he brings with the speed is better, but you're not seeing like Musovski at his best versus Morris at his best. You're not seeing like an absolute gigantic difference almost, it feels like. And for a guy that you're paying that designated player money to, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for your Raúls, your Obas, And I mean, the shitty part is, I feel like, is with the only sort of roster space that we have right now is using that U22 spot, and we have to, if we want to fix that 9 position, it would have to be a U22 9. I just don't feel like, I mean, I guess we could sign a U22 9 that could be that X factor, but do I trust us to try to scout that guy? Like, not really, to be honest. And in that position, I would like a guy when Raúl came in and he was 26, 27 from Liga MX. He had this established career where he was a high-end goal scorer. That's what we're looking for. But again, we only have that U22 spot, and we're gonna have to try and sign a U22 striker who can be this. Like, I have my doubts. Let's put it that way.
You know when I knew you guys were cooked? When I had someone on my podcast or my channel, and they said, I said, why are you giving Albert Rusnak a extension as a DP? I mean, he's 31 years old or 30 years old at this point. I think he would take a TAM deal. I mean, if he really wants to be there, I'm sure he would take somewhat of a pay cut. He hasn't really played up to DP status. And the person told me they don't want to risk losing him and then have to go out and pay a transfer fee for another guy to replace him. So they're willing to overspend so they don't have to pay a transfer fee for him. And I was just like, man, if that is their mentality these days, they are so fucking cooked. Like if that is what they really believe, they're in deep, deep trouble. And I just think back to the 2016 season because that is when this club really turned it around. That is when this club became what it is. It was in 2016 when things were bad. Ziggy Schmidt got let go. Brian Schmetzer got the interim tag as the manager, and they signed Nico Ladero, and the rest was history. And this, I don't want to say this team reminds me of that 2016 team because I think that 2016 team is better. I mean, it had Dempsey. I think they had to sell Obafemi Martins to get Nico Ladero, if I'm not mistaken, because Nelson Valdez was the other DP. He wasn't very good, to be honest with you, but they had like Roman Torres, who was an absolute fucking dog. I mean, he was incredible. Obviously, Stephen Fry was in his prime at that point. But just having Nico Ladero, that X factor guy, just came in there and just changed the whole club's identity and made them the premier team of MLS for like a 5-year, 6-year period. I mean, the late 2010s, early 20s, MLS or Seattle Sounders the best team in MLS at that point. They were. I mean, they won 2 MLS Cups, more than any other team. CONCACAF Champions Cup final, first team to win that in like fucking 20 years or something like that. Something crazy. It's just crazy that they just don't have any ambition. I feel so bad for your fans, man. I really do, because Cincinnati doesn't have a small market, right? Very similar. I mean, I think Seattle's technically a little bigger, but nothing crazy, right? Cincinnati's a small market. They have 2 X Factor guys. They have Evander from Portland, who's an absolute fucking baller. And then they went and signed Kevin Danke for like $18 million. And he's just absolutely balling the fuck out up top. He's got like 8 goals this year. And this club can't even be bothered to spend $7 million in 1 year. Like they spent like, what was it? Was it $8 million on Pedro de la Vega? Something like that. I want to say it was like $8 million for him in 2024. I mean, is the club this fucking broke? They can't spend $8 million on a guy? I mean, they're in the wrong business if that's the case.
It is actually, it does come down to the owner when it comes to spending money. Like he doesn't really give us a whole lot to spend, and to be honest with you, a lot of any big transfer moves that we're going to make in the next 2-3 years. First of all, we're not going to in the next 2 years because we have Albert and Jordan for at least 2 years, and that's assuming we don't accept their team option, which we probably fucking will, to be honest with you, to save money. I mean, but any sort of spending power that we'll get is going to be from the Club World Cup. So that's 9.5, I believe, just for being in. Assuming we heavily more than likely won't get any points from that. So 9.5 from that, and then whatever you make from Obed Vargas, that's sort of going to be our spending power. But even then, like I said, we're not going to have any roster space to sign the kind of players that we need to sign, and it's just a bit shitty. And in order to get out of this place that we're in, we have to make some big moves that would probably piss off a lot of the fan base. For example, moving on from Jordan Morris. Like, I mean, as much as it makes sense to us, I mean, the majority of just Sounder fans, even casual fans, aren't going to want that to happen. You know, they're going to be pissed if that happens. But that's the sort of thing that we'd have to do, because he's the DP. He's the DP number 9. In order to replace him with that X factor, we'd have to find some way to move off of him, and that's a move that we're not going to make. So honestly, I don't know where exactly we go from here. I mean, it's like roster cap, we're fucked. Yeah.
Do Seattle fans like? Is there like some weird like some weird Seattle cult that just have like Jordan Morris shrines in their closet or some shit like that? I mean, is there just like an absolute Jordan Morris stand portion of the fan base?
Dude, Jordan Morris to the majority of the average fans, he's like build a statue like this is Mr. Sounder. This is the face
like Lionel Messi
of our team.
We do have to respect, I will say, for where he's at right now is different than Morris has been a pivotal player like in the history of Sounders, right? Like
for
all
sure.
Time, which I think that's a lot taken into the factor is that legacy status, especially a kid like from the area, which I think is fair to have like favoritism for him as a fan, right? but
Yeah.
the opinions online about him as a player at this stage in his career definitely might not be the most accurate due to some of the bias across Seattle.
Yeah, and it's not to discredit anything Jordan Morris has done. Like he's a club legend, of course, but there comes a point where it's like, yeah, I know you're a legend, but it's a business at the end of the day. There's tough decisions that have to be made. And do you want to pay a guy like Jordan Morris with 2 major knee injuries who relies heavily on his athletic ability, pay him DP money into his age 33, 34 season? These are tough decisions that would have had to been made, but obviously we kept him, and now we're in this kind of area where we're stuck with him as our highest paid DP player, and well, at least
Absurd.
up there with Rusnak.
That's
A
just
problem with
absurd.
that. A problem I have with that too is I feel like the Sounders have gotten to the point where it's like we have no direction where we're going, right? Like I think that in today's MLS, you can get by having a Morris or a Rusnak DP, but not both of them, and your system has to match up with their style of
Exactly.
play. And I don't think that's the Sounders now. I think Rusnak, personally, I would not have brought him back as a DP. But when the Sounders are best, I don't think Rusnak fits into this team. And with the money you're paying him, you have to funnel him and Morris into the team when they're both fit.
And the thing is too, even if we kept Rusnak, he would be fine if we had that, like, for example, Denki level striker or that Raul level striker. So it just goes back to your point. If we just had one of them, sure, but both of them, like, this really hurting the team a bit. And Jordan Morris, when he became a legend of this club, was never ever the main guy. When he was a rookie, he wasn't the main guy. And then we brought in Nico and Raul, and he wasn't the main guy. And ever since he's been the main guy, the team has struggled to be on that level again.
You want to hear an interesting fact?
Hmm.
The last team in MLS to win an MLS Cup with an American DP. Do you know who it was? And how long ago it was? Oh, yeah, it's happened before, but do you know who it is?
I feel like it's gonna be something stupid like LA Galaxy
It's
back
a
when the
Galaxy
Galaxy
with the
No,
hype.
it was 2017 Toronto FC. They had Michael
Altidore.
Bradley and Josie Altidore. Now, those guys have been way more tested than Jordan Morris at the international level, right? They both played in Europe. One played in the Premier League. Actually, both of them played in the Premier League. And then Michael Bradley played in Serie A. Much more established player than I would say Jordan Morris. And Josie Altidore is definitely more talented than Jordan Morris. We got to be honest. He definitely was more talented than Jordan Morris.
Yep.
You cannot, and even those guys were carried by Jovinko. Sebastian Jovinko, insane. Obviously, Seattle fans are very familiar with Sebastian Jovinko. They played in like 2 or 3 MLS Cups against each other. You cannot. Jordan Morris is just such dead weight. That is a supplemental guy who can be the homegrown player, who can be a TAM player. Yes, you need those quality guys. He cannot be your DP. He cannot be your like every single DP on this roster is a fucking waste. Like legit waste. Pedro de la Vega would be a waste. Even if he was a U22, he'd be a waste for what he's contributed to this team. I told you last week, Brody, if you got a DP winger like that, he's got to be scoring 10 goals, 10 assists every single year. He's got to be a difference maker like that. He's got to be dynamic in the attack. He's got to create chances. He's got to score goals. He's got to be able to have the defense, the back line of the opposing team on their heels. That's what you're paying him to do. Jordi Alba, like I said last week, man, left back in this league, had 15 assists last year. 15 assists. Pedro de la Vega can't even hit double-digit assists. Like, that should be the easiest achievement for him you could possibly do. They literally give you an assist if you pass it to another fucking player, and then they pass it to a player who scores the goal. You literally get an assist for that. It's the easiest thing to do if you're a supposedly talented winger in this league. And, you brought up a point about Raul Ruiz-Diaz, right? Raul Ruiz-Diaz was clinical as a scorer, especially when he was healthy. But even Raul Ruiz-Diaz, as good as he was, it felt like he was still he's better than what they have now when he was in his prime. But I don't think he was the guy. I still think that he was like the Pippen to Nico's Jordan.
100%.
Sorry to give you the basketball reference if anybody in the chat doesn't watch basketball. But at this point, you would still kill for someone like that, right?
100%.
Imagine if they had a Cucho Hernandez.
Dude, that's probably the
That's
most
like the wet
said
dream,
phrase
right?
I've had on this channel is imagine if we had a Cucho level guy. I've said that so
And
many
they only paid. I
times.
mean, they paid $10
Crazy.
million for him. The Crew did. But here's the thing: it's a business, right? Obviously, you guys spend a little money, but Columbus sold him for more than what they paid for him. That's just good business. Why couldn't Seattle just get a guy who's 23, 24 years old, a little bit more proven than what Pedro de la Vega is, right? Maybe a little bit higher profile player. Have him come here, play 2 or 3 years, ball the fuck out, and then sell him for more than you paid for him. And that way you make money.
Well, I'd say with that too. First, guys, drop a like on the stream if you're enjoying this. Leave your comments about your opinions on anything we're talking about. But what I'd say too is beyond Cucho, the fact that that was a banger of a signing, Columbus is a club that has clear direction, clearly what they want as a team, and that showed because they sold Cucho and they are still top 3 in the East. They are still a quality team even without him in the roster anymore. They actually have the ability to go sign a player and scout him and put him into the way that their team plays, and they go and win MLS Cups, and they can sell him on, and not see a real fall off. The Sounders
That's
are
what
not like that. We have plug and play players where we see shiny toy and we drop them into our lineup and then hope they can play together.
like Paul Rothrock's a mainstay. I mean, essentially he's the starter. Like, yeah, Kent started some games, but essentially he started, I think, 13 of 14 games this season in the MLS.
Yeah.
Does this dude, how many teams is he even like getting 20, 30 minutes a game on? How many other teams in the league?
Maybe 2.
Yeah, and he
Maybe.
starts. He starts nearly every game for us,
Well, I got a question for you guys too. I mean, listen, just to preface this, I'm covering 30 teams. I try to keep up with as many as I can. I might have missed this, but I thought Obed Vargas was supposed to be sold to Club America. What happened to that? Why did that fall through?
I mean,
Supposedly he still is going to be, but at some point, it's sort of feel like every rumor was never fully solidified. Just a broad number was brought up, and supposedly he's going to go next window.
It's just more of like a matter of time type of thing. Nothing ever like there's no like surefire like this is
Going to happen,
deal.
but it's still rumored to
but it's still rumored. Yeah, and then sources close to Cheyenne he's been talking to, and apparently he's might not. This is probably gonna be his last season, all things considered. But yeah, he never really had like a move that was actually solidified. I guess.
Well, I was just gonna say, because if they sold him to Club America, and I would assume it'd be for something decent, like maybe like 5-6 mil, I would say maybe that's too high, but I'd say somewhere around that ballpark, right? That gives you money to spend on a DP. You could, well, it's hard now because they'd have to buy someone out. They're not going to do that. But if they had not just planned it out a little better, not sign one of these guys to DP like Rusnak, because I don't think Rusnak's really making that big of a deal anyways when you really think about it. Like, do you think this team would be that much worse if Rusnak wasn't on the pitch? Maybe they would be. I don't know. This team isn't anything special. But either way, if you didn't want to, fit the bill for that at the beginning of the season, you sell someone like Obed Vargas, it puts a little more money in your pocket, then you could have used that money to pay for the transfer fee on this new DP, number 10 or number 9, whatever it may be. And Cheyenne and I talked about, Nuhu. Yeah, Nuhu, when they should have sold him when he had that incredible AFCON performance against Mo Salah, and his stock was at the highest it ever been. They probably could have sold him for like somewhere between $7, $8, $9 million, I'd say. Why the hell did they not do that? What the fuck does Nuhu do for this team that you couldn't sell him for $9 million?
Even 5.
Even $5 million. Yeah, fuck. I mean, what does he do for this team? Is he giving you 16 assists a game like Jordi Alba? Probably not. But what is a left back really doing for you in MLS that's winning games? Of course, it's important. I'm not saying that. But is it $9 million important? No. I don't think so.
No. I mean, $9 million in this league, that's an X factor attacker. That's what that is,
That's what Ruidíaz costs, right? That's what Nico Ladero. I think Nico Ladero was somewhere around there too, maybe cheaper.
Nico was like around 4 million. Raul was like 6 million. Something like this.
We're forgetting too that we had a lot of offers for Leo Chu like a year and a half ago to sell back to Brazil for what? It was like over $2 million.
Yeah, if you guys have watched this channel long enough, and if you haven't, you can go back and check out our videos on this. But Sean and I, we've covered this topic, the Leo Chu topic, so many times. We lost out on $4 million for a guy who's barely even does he even play for FC Dallas right now? A guy that we basically traded for a guy we could have got $4 million for, and he ended up being scraps and a deal to get Jesus Ferreira. We could have sold him for $4 million. It's just bad business.
Well,
bad business.
I have to run here in a second, guys, but I just wanted to point this out real quick. Thanks for letting me stop by and talk with you guys. I hope the Sounder fans don't think I'm too negative. I'm just trying to be honest about, I'm not biased. I don't like the team or dislike the team. I'm honest with what I see. But I really do think that the team is kind of like stuck in a weird situation where if they don't get some type of new ownership, whether it's a small investor or something like that, to give them the resources. I mean, look at the Whitecaps, the team up north of you guys. They literally are selling the team, and they made an announcement and said, we are going to sell the team because we no longer can get the financial resources it takes to succeed in this league. It's kind of funny because they never really have succeeded in this league, which, kind of ironic, and they're doing good this year. But that was the reason why they put the team up for sale. And they go on this historic run. They're doing great. They know that they needed to sell this team. They can't spend, they're not going to spend $10 million on a striker, $15 million on a striker like these other teams are doing nowadays. I feel like Hanauer has this team hostage. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't want to spend the money, but he doesn't want to let it go either. And hopefully that changes. I don't want the team to perform bad at the Club World Cup or the rest of the season, but maybe if they did, because it's kind of like this team they're never really terrible and they're never really good. They're just kind of stuck in the middle to where you really don't know what the hell they are. I feel like if they do get embarrassed at the Club World Cup and maybe go on a bad run here, maybe that will open some eyes and ownership or someone with power, Greg Weibel, which, I guess he really doesn't have that much power. He didn't do shit, really. Maybe they'll change their tune and think, maybe we need to do something different. Maybe we do need to. We're going to have to evolve with the league or we're going to get left behind. And the championships we won aren't going to matter to the average fan anymore. Not the Seattle fan. I'm talking about the league. Like when you guys brag and say, we ran this league for the last 7 years, people are going to be like, no one even, that's very forgettable. Like it already feels kind of forgettable that you guys won the CCC 3 years ago. That feels like a lifetime ago. So hopefully that changes. It's good. The league is better when Seattle is competitive and has big star power, which they have before. And when I say star power, I just mean a player that the whole league knows and fears. And that they had players like that historically until recently. Hopefully that changes. Yes, Weibel out for sure. We'll see what happens. There's still a very long season, but just keep doing what you guys do. Keep the pressure on. Keep saying what you believe. All the fans keep doing the same. Don't be in denial. Don't just stick to the status quo and say, yeah, well, I guess we can't do anything, so we might as well just go to the game and watch it. Actually voice your opinion because change can help and it can make a difference. The Galaxy got their general manager of 10 years or their president fired after 10 years because he sucked ass. So the fans have all the power. You're the consumer. You're the ones that make the business go. Don't ever forget that. We'll see what happens. And I appreciate you guys for having me on. Make sure you like the stream down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
All right, sweet. Thank you, Will. We always appreciate having your voice on the channel, man. Especially, it's always good to have just a fresh person in, so that way it's not just this big echo chamber. Someone from the outside would be like, "Hey, this is what the rest of the league thinks about you." It's always good to have that voice. So we appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys for having me on, and have a good night. And hopefully, there's better days ahead.
Absolutely. Make sure you go drop a follow to MLS Moves over on X. All the best news across the MLS. Will, thank you so much for joining us.
Check me out on YouTube as well. I'm getting closer to 7,000 subscribers, trying to hit that by the end of this month. So make sure you check that out as well. You guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
All right. So I want to get to some of these, but I know JRS, you got to go in a bit. So is there any sort of final thoughts that you want to share? Any thoughts about the game, just the season in general? Anything that you'd recommend that we would do beyond this point to prepare for the Club World Cup? Give us your closing thoughts.
Honestly, anything I would do for the Club World Cup, I would have done 2 months ago. But with the open U22 spots we have, the opportunity of the Club World Cup, surely we could go out and find someone, some striker, some young striker who wants to nick his name on the world stage. Like, you're telling me we never went out South America, anywhere across the world, to be honest, and said, hey, we have the eyes of PSG, Atletico Madrid, all of the biggest clubs in Europe directly on us. We are hosting the tournament. We can give you good money now. We're playing in a team that claims to have title aspirations. There's been proven tons of players across the world that would take an opportunity like that. And so I don't think the 10-day window is enough for us to pull something off like that. But in an ideal world, it would be.
Yeah.
And I think today proved that I think this team, we're missing a sense of direction. And I think that if we were to hit on a striker like that, that sentence would change. But I would also say is where this team is right now, I don't think we have a glaring obvious, oh, we need to upgrade here outside of the number 9 spot. So why not take a risk and go sign a number 9? We have multiple DP U22 spots, open. Even if we fail on one of them, I think we're at a spot where we need to go take a risk and go try to sign someone, a big name number 9, to fill that void.
Do you think we still have any of Chris Henderson's scouting notes left over for the number 9 position? Probably not.
I would doubt it. And based on how Atlanta United's doing, I don't know if I would trust them right now.
That's a fair point, yeah. That is true.
So, all right. Well, I got to go. Thanks, everyone, for tuning into the stream. Brody will keep it going for a little bit longer. But, guys, don't forget, leave a like, leave a comment, keep going in the chat, put post notifications on if you want to become a member of the channel. Always a good opportunity. So, thanks so much, guys. Keep up the good work.
All right. Thank you. All right. Sweet. Guys, I want to, for those of you in the chat, guys, I want to hear from you guys. Like, what do you guys think we should do? Give us, because we've talked back and forth, but I want to hear from you guys. Is there anything we can do? Is there anything we can do in preparation for the Club World Cup? Because listen, it's looking a bit bleak. Because I mean, like I was saying before, the biggest area where I think we need to upgrade is that proven goal scoring 9. And just even for the rest of the MLS season, all we have is that U22 spot. And listen, a striker, man, young strikers can work out, sure. But those clinical number 9s, your guys like the Raúls, the Obas, they're like 27, 28, 29 in their prime. They have that experience. And I just don't see how a U22 guy, and we have to trust that Craig Weibel can scout a prolific U22 number 9. Do we think that it's going to happen, people? Probably not. Just hope and pray. I mean, bro, honestly, listen, man, that's where I'm at right now. Seriously. I mean, bro, we got to reduce our TAM costs. I don't know what we can do without key spots. Listen, bro, that's the thing. Like, apparently there's not really much we can do in terms of the DPs. Like, we can't really buy anybody down at this point, which is brutal. Because if we could just even open up one DP spot, this could actually change our team's fortunes. It really could. Just one DP spot gives us the opportunity to sign that number 9, and then we're looking pretty golden, honestly. If we had that 9, and then you get Ryan Kent integrated more into the team, Pedro hopefully stays healthy, and then you got Rusnak also around these pieces, and you have that core of the back line and the double pivot. If we could just find a way to free up one DP spot, man, like, I don't know if any of you guys in the live chat are like salary cap experts of this league, because anyone who's tried to look into the salary cap knows it's a fucking nightmare. so many weird rules to the salary cap. It's insane. I don't know if there's any of you that are super informed when it comes to the salary cap, but I would be curious to know if there is anything that we can do to buy down one of our designated player spots, because that really is what's killing us right now. We would be able to plug and play a striker for the Club World Cup if we bought one. Brian seems to take longer to integrate players. I mean, we have this window, right? We have this window to have players for specifically the Club World Cup. So we could do that. But again, like, I don't know if you guys see a lot of the post game interviews or just the midweek interviews on the Sounders YouTube channel. But because of Musovski's super great form recently, Craig Weibel literally said in an interview, like, his form is like making me think twice about buying a striker. And I'm like, no, man. So listen, bro, like I have my doubts that we're gonna do that. And even if we did buy one, do we trust him to be very good with our scouting team? I don't know. I'll tell you what we can do. We can send our scouts to South America and find us a midfielder and a damn good striker. I mean, we could do that. I mean, South America has been a gold mine for players. I mean, that's where we found Nico Ladero. Our last signing, Pedro de la Vega. I mean, with Pedro, man, it does help that he is a young designated player because he does hit the salary cap at significantly less than what, or maybe not significantly, but actually kind of almost half of what a senior DP hits. But regardless, like with Pedro, it's hard for him to actually, like Will was talking about, that 10 goal, 10 assist season from your winger. First of all, Brian loves Rothrock too damn much for Pedro to actually get consistent 90s. But the thing is that even if he didn't, Pedro just keeps getting hurt. So I don't know if he's ever going to be able to play enough minutes to have that 10 goal, 10 assist season. But with Pedro, it's just like the flashes are there. The flashes of brilliance are there, and he has a lot of good games, but he can't seem to put it together consistently yet. And a lot of that, I think, in his first year had to do with just injuries. But well, it is getting a bit. Obviously, Pedro was signed on a 4-year deal, and this is year 2 of that deal. So hopefully, in years 3 and 4, he can take that next step to be a consistent performing designated player. But we'll see, man. We'll see. We're too close to the opening games. No player's going to start considering how long it took us to integrate all our new signings. And that's the thing, too. Like, even if we bring in a new guy, how's he going to fit into the system? You know, you only have 3 fucking games. I mean, I guess if we somehow miraculously advance, then we would have more. But we only have 3 games. So even when they come, what's it going to look like? How much are they going to play? Like, honestly, what even is the point, I guess? The thing is with the U22 strikers, the ones that can come in and start scoring straight away are probably not going to be coming to the MLS. They will go to Europe. That is also a very good point. But again, I mean, we do have examples like Joveljic. We could look out and get a Joveljic type guy. But again, do we trust our scouting department to do that? I don't think so. Even if we sign someone, maybe we could pull a tie against Botafogo out of our ass. But against the other 2, we are cooked. Bro, any points, just any fucking points, man. That would be phenomenal. Even if we walk away with 1 point and we had 30 shots conceded and somehow lucked away into a point, because we get money for that. So, I mean, at this point, it is going to all have to come down to luck unless Atleti and PSG really just like play the academy kids, then it's like hopefully some senior guys can hold their own against some academy players, but I doubt they're going to go that deep into their roster. I was praying for some rare chance that we would have got Evander. Bro, that was the big thing. Like Cheyenne was like, bro, we could have got Evander. We could have got Evander. Like, no fucking way Portland was gonna let us get Evander. No way, man. Which is really funny because we could have been in the position had we not signed Rusnak to force Portland's hand. Because we could have offered Portland more money than what Cincy offered and be like, hey, we can give you so much money for Evander and we can give you what he's worth. Because what Cincy paid for him is not what his market value was. We could have been like just friggin' schlong on the table. Boom. We'll give you exactly what he's worth, and you guys have to give him to us. That would have been amazing. That would have been absolutely amazing. The Jordan Morris DP slot is what's really tying our hands behind our back. And you know what's even worse? We've talked about it a lot of times, but the fact that the only reason he's a DP is because of a fucking contract incentive. And it was a goal contributions contract incentive. Jordan Morris had 14 goals. 14. That is not elite designated player fucking goal contributions. It's not. So you had to think like that number must have been so fucking low. Like I want to actually break his contract out and be like, what exact number was that? And what's even worse, fellas, you guys might want to be happy that Jesus Ferreira's starting off slow because if he reaches whatever incentive is in his contract, he would become a designated player later too. These contract incentives, man, it's like it's fucking ridiculous. We're a club that has won 2 MLS Cups, been to 4 MLS Cups, won the CCL, and our fucking contract incentive is cookie eating contest. And then sweet, yeah, Jordan, you won the donut eating contest, and now you're a designated player. For a club with this pedigree, that's fucking insane. Oh my gosh. I don't think Pedro's a bust, but he can do more than he has done. Yeah, listen, like granted, Will's like he covers the entire MLS. Like I couldn't even imagine fucking doing that. So a lot of times it's easy to look at the box score and see that he's not putting up these numbers, but like when Pedro's healthy and he's not playing in like a super heavily rotated team. Like he does look like a game changer. He does look really good, but he just needs to stay healthy, and the team needs to actually play their best lineup consistently. And then I think you'll see by the year's end, he'll be close to that, 10 goal, 10 assist type thing. I think he'll probably be more of like a 5-6 goal, 11, 12 assist guy at his peak, but that remains to be seen. Should we sell Jackson Reagan now? Listen, I don't know what kind of offers are coming across for Jackson Reagan, but if it's anything in the realm of 4-5 million, fucking sell. Absolutely. Listen, you have stability. Like let's just say hypothetically we sold Reagan right now in the summer. We have Kim Ki-hee, who is perfectly serviceable, by the way. And he can probably go another year or so. So until then, you could sign another center back, or you have Stuart Hawkins, who you've been developing, who's one of the best under 18 prospects in the league. Like you have room to sell a guy like Reagan, and you could probably listen. I'm a fan of. I don't think we're gonna do anything in the Club World Cup, so I'm a fan of like getting your Pedros, your Obeds, your Reagans, like dudes that could sell for money, getting them in front of the right eyes, and hopefully they show out. So let's just say best case scenario, Jackson starts in the Club World Cup and he plays very good, and teams, especially in Europe, can see his ball playing ability. Maybe we could sell him. Maybe we could. But I'm telling you, if that $4 to $5 million offer came across the table, easy, smash. Next question. I feel like Brian made really poor substitution decisions, and I feel like that was kind of a one-off. I feel like the media was going off about how deep our bench is. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely questionable bringing on Georgie Monongu to play striker in a game where it's 1-1 against your rival, and you rested everybody, and you need a goal to win. Probably one of the worst substitutions that he's had this season, and that's honestly really hard to do. He's had some very bad substitutions, but yeah, stinky from Brian. And our bench, in theory, our bench is deep, but I mean, that's the thing. Like our bench was deep, but usually it's like guys that would start normally, like Rusnak or Pedro or Kent. But in reality, our bench is like Rothrock and Georgie, or all right. Ferreira, who can play fine. Honestly, like I thought Ferreira got a little bit of too much shit for his performance today. Like I thought where we had Ferreira was a good spot where he was kind of just linking up play a lot. Unfortunately, we didn't turn it into a whole lot of chances, but we certainly had enough chances to win the game. But I thought Ferreira was okay. But again, like that's him, Rothrock, Georgie, like those are your guys off the bench. In theory, you had JP coming off the bench, who seemed like a great veteran option, but JP's really starting to slow down, sadly. But yeah, I think maybe you're right about our bench being a bit overrated. Sell Alex, bro. I mean, apparently Alex is one of the most highest valued outside backs in the MLS. Dude, you give me a $3 million offer for Alex, sell easy. I would rather have Kalani, a mix of Kalani and Reed Baker Whiting for that spot, and sell Alex 100%. But again, we won't because his last name's Roldan, and power of friendship. Woo! Ridiculous, man. It's not going to happen. Anyone named Roldan or Morris, they're not going to be sold. And if they are, too little, too late. Kind of odd the window's like 10 days before the tourney. Yeah, I mean they gave teams a Club World Cup specific window just to sell, or I mean not sell, but just to bring in players for the tournament. A bit odd, but I mean it's not like we're gonna make use of it anyways. I don't think. I mean, Weibel isn't going to sign anyone. He can't even sign anyone during the summer transfer window. I mean, the one player we kind of actually signed, or the couple players, were free agents, one of whom played for the team already. So, I mean, I agree with you there, Wade. Yeah, even if we could, which we don't really have like we were talking about earlier, we don't really have the roster space to sign anybody. But even if we did, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, LA Galaxy paid $4 million for Jovic. No way we would pay that for U22. I mean, $4 million. I mean, I could see us pulling off a $4 million signing, but again, like it would really, really have to be someone that we're absolutely sure about, and I think it would have to come at the expense of us selling Obed. Like, I don't think we would do that right now if we kept Obed, to be honest. We just think longer term bolster other parts of the team. Yeah, I mean, it's just a bit weird. Like, it feels like this team, we can't really think longer term right now, I feel like. Because we made the decision to re-sign Morris, Christian, Albert, all these guys who are in their peaks right now. So I feel like to try and go longer term, go younger, I feel like it would just kind of put us in a bit of a shitty situation for the next 2-3 years. I think like I'm in the camp of, as soon as we can, if we're not going to sell, let's assume we're not going to sell Morris or Rusnak. I'm in the camp of after their contracts are done, kind of blow it up type of thing. If we still are just consistently mid, which we've proven that that's kind of at our level at this point, and then we would blow it up. But I think right now I don't see us thinking longer term and getting younger and stuff like this. Then when Ario's back, how do we afford Kent? Listen, bro, I have no idea. I actually have no idea how this is going to work. And it makes me scared that we're going to not bring back, assuming Kent, keeps it up and still plays good. It makes me concerned that we're not going to bring him back. And that would be Very, very, very sad. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are liking the stream, liking the discussion, please leave a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, if you could check out our membership program where, for example, we have guys like Oklahoma Kid. Shout out Oklahoma Kid. When you're a member, your chats get highlighted. And also, we have videos where the members can ask whatever questions that they want. Literally anything. Could be related to the team, to world football. Fucking, if you want to ask how our day is going, you can literally ask anything and we'll answer it and make a video about it. So, and you also in the chat get access to stickers. We got a Pedro one, we got a Brian one, a Craig one. Like, if you haven't seen that already, I would consider checking that out. But other than that, if you guys at least leave a like and subscribe, that would be very, very much appreciated. So we got a $4.99 super chat from the GOAT. Shout out Oklahoma Kid. We have a talented team, but Brian has become stale. Craig is cooked. Too many talented players, but not in their best spots. Honestly, it can be like that. I could see it like that too. It's like a land of misfit toys, kind of, you know? Like we have kind of these different build players, and we're all trying to shove them into one team. Listen, for Brian, I mean, I don't know at what point, and it goes back to the whole direction thing. I mean, if we're a team that had title aspirations, I feel like another disappointing season from the Sounders, you would fire Brian Schmetzer. But I think it just goes to show kind of where this team is. And listen, I've been a Brian defender, especially last year, in that first like 14 or so games when we were terrible and we wanted to fire him. Like, I was defending him a lot, and I don't regret it because obviously led us to a Western Conference appearance. But like another season or so of this kind of just mid stuff. I mean, if you're a serious contending team, you move off of guys like that. You say, thank you very much, Brian Schmetzer. You are through and through Mr. Seattle Sounder, 100%, but we got to move on. Got a question for you, Brody. Would you sell Pedro in the summer if it meant we got a DP9? Yes. I would. And it sucks because I love Pedro. You guys know that. Anyone who's seen me on this channel, I'm a big Pedro de la Vega stan. But in terms of what we need, I would absolutely sell Pedro. And if you sell Pedro, you could still probably get. I mean, we bought him for $7.5 million. We could still probably get $4.5 million for him. And then you add on hopefully if Hanauer's got fucking any money in his bank account, add on $3-4 million to that and buy a striker. I would absolutely do that. But yeah, I doubt it. Why haven't we seen more of Kalani? I saw him up off the bench today. Didn't even warm up. I think it's just a case of Brian. You know, he's got his favorites. We've talked about it before. He's got his guys. He's got his Alexes, his Jordans, his Rothrocks, you know. He's got his favorites, man. And it would take a catastrophic downfall from Alex Roldan for Brian to consider making Kalani the starter. And until that happens, enjoy Alex Roldan being the starter. But I would absolutely love if we sold Alex for $2.53 million and then just started Kalani. Like, why not? Why not? I mean, the areas, in my opinion, that Kalani lacks in are areas that Alex also lacks in. So it's like there's no drop-off really from that. So for a guy that's probably valued, his market value is much higher. If we could even get that market value, then I would absolutely move on from Alex. Just hit the like button with the tip. Fellas, if you hit the like button with your tip, you are absolutely 100% positively goated. Honestly, Brian is a good coach. He was able to get us to the Western Conference Finals with the hot garbage that Weibel put together. I think that's so fucking underrated, by the way. I really do. Like, when everyone was coming for Brian Schmetzer's head and the team sucked and we were just absolutely rock bottom, he's kept us going, kept us afloat, went on a hot run, and led us to a Western Conference Finals. And we were a fucking Alex Roldan blunder away from making an MLS Cup. And had we made the MLS Cup, we probably would have fucking won. And we were really close to do that with the squad that we had. Like, Brian Schmetzer, this is why I defend Brian Schmetzer. Like, bro, last year's team is not a very good collection of talent. Like, it's solid, but solid should get you really making the playoffs and bounced in the first round. That's a solid team, you know. And he took that and almost did wonders with it. I think the front office and even some of our fan base is now okay with us making the conference semifinals and then casually made it to the conference final. It is sad, bro. Like, it really is. And what sucks too is, like, a lot of fans, if you say anything about the players that are making the most money on the team, they attack you. They think you're just a hater. They can't accept any form of criticism, and that's what happens, bro. That's what happened. This is a lot of fans' ideal situation. Is Jordan Morris is your DP, and we're happy watching our kid from Seattle. And if we don't make an MLS Cup final, who cares? You know, that's the sad reality of what a lot of our fan base has become. And listen, oh, it's a far cry from what we used to be. I mean, think about it, fellas. Our first MLS Cup win was nearly 10 years ago. The start of our dynasty was nearly 10 years ago. We are not that team anymore. Absolutely not. Maybe we should have picked up Ladero for the league men. Bro, Albert's a good player, okay? Albert is a good player. Regardless, just take away the contract. He is good at soccer. Absolutely. No one is suggesting that Albert Rusnak sucks. He doesn't suck. Very talented, good player. But I would rather have Ladero, a rotation of Ladero and Ferreira at the 10, than pay Rusnak what we're paying him to be our designated player. Absolutely would rather have that. So I agree with you, Chad, 100%. Sell Pedro, Alex, and Craig. Here's the thing: you could get money. You could get money for the first two. I think you're gonna have to pay somebody the profits that you make from these two to take Craig Weibel. Sadly, we were so close, but so far at the same time. In the sense that we didn't have that one X factor player to push us over the line to beat the Galaxy. Exactly. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And look, you look at our 2019 run, going away against the big bad LAFC, the record breakers at the time. MVP, led by MVP Carlos Vela, who had one of, if not the best MLS seasons ever. Ever. When we went into their building and we stomped all over them. And who were the reasons why we did? Raul Ruidiaz brace, Nico Ladero goal, and assist. That is why. We had two absolute X Factor players against literally, how much harder could it be? That was like almost peak LAFC interest, bro. When they were just murking everybody in 2019, and they absolutely, I think they broke the record. They broke the points record at that time. And we went into their building with that fucking team and dog walked them. And then we went to the MLS Cup final and dog walked Toronto. We just don't have those X Factor players anymore, and we can't. With this roster constructed, we can't. We have to hope that Ryan Kent can become that. And listen, bro, Ryan Kent's a fucking talented player. Absolutely. He has pedigree in Europe. I mean, a lot of our roster can't say that. But like I said, he hasn't played much competitive ball for you, and we have to rely on him to consistently be our X Factor. Rusnak doesn't suck. He just isn't a DP quality player. That's what these guys don't get, bro. That's what they don't get. That's what they don't get. You can't say anything, any sort of criticism. It's not even like I don't hate the player. I just hate the contract. That's literally what it comes down to. But if you say that, they just act like you're an absolute hater, and they just don't let you get a word in. Like, bro, you can criticize somebody without saying that they're a bad player. No one said Rusnak. No one said Rusnak's a bad player. Obviously, he's not. But look at the DPS that have won you championships, bro. Is Rusnak a prime Ladero player? No, he's not. Nah, dude, him, Pedro, and Rusnak need to start together. Absolutely. Like, I mean, we saw Brian Schmetzer roll out Jordan Morris for 15 games. I mean, I know it's kind of random, but it'll make sense. We saw Brian roll out Jordan Morris for 14, 15 games at the start of last season, and he scored 1 goal. Literally, honestly, you probably should have changed it up right there. Literally, everyone was telling you to, but he stuck with it. And then what happened? The team built chemistry. Jordan hit his stride, Albert hit his stride, and we made a push all the way to the Western Conference Finals. We need to build that same trust with this lineup, bro. We need to consistently start Kent, Rusnak, Pedro, and then Musaski or Morris up top. But specifically, Kent, Rusnak, Pedro. Kent, Rusnak, Pedro. Get them starting together more and more and more and build that chemistry. Like, for example, Rothrock, he's had so much time to build chemistry with these players. Bro, Kent's been here for a month. Like, just keep rolling him out. Keep trying. You see the talent. You see the talent is there. Keep rolling him out and tweak some things tactically if you need to. But ultimately, first and foremost, keep rolling them out. See, Roldan should be DP over Jordan. But see, I agree with this. But at the same time, I would also not want Christian as a DP. I think it's perfect to have him as a high TAM. And if you even want to have Jordan as a high TAM, that's the thing though with Jordan. It would be almost better to not have Jordan at all. And the thing is like, yeah, Jordan can be a good striker in the league, but even if you pay Jordan a high TAM, he's still gonna be the starting striker. Like, even if he's not the DP, he's still gonna be the starting striker on a high TAM. So it's like, bro, honestly, and I'm gonna whisper this because God forbid you have anything to say against Jordan Morris. I'm not even a Jordan Morris hater. I actually in our RGTV group chat, I back him a lot of the times, but I'm gonna say it really quietly. It would almost be better if Jordan Morris was not on the team at all for contract purposes, for salary cap purposes. Telling Ladero to kick rocks was heartbreaking. Yeah, bro. Especially like, dude, he was begging to be here, man. What's wrong with the guys? What's wrong with the fucking cool uncle on the bench? What's wrong with the cool uncle on the bench? Because that's the floor. You have a floor of just a guy who is a club legend who the fans absolutely love, and you get to at least that even might put like more butts into seats, to be honest with you, when Ladero comes back, because a lot of the city goes, that's Ladero, that's Nico Ladero, that's the best player in club history. But not only that, at the bare minimum, you have a veteran leader on this team. Ladero is a captain. Will was talking about who are your leaders. Like, I feel like Fry, Christian, those are more kind of unspoken leader guys. But Nico was the captain. Nico was an actual leader, 100%. And at least to have that veteran presence for cheap, why not? And it was just absolutely shitty. And the way we did it too. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the more you look into it, the Sounders have a big history of kind of fucking up our relationships with our best players. I mean, it happened with Ladero, with Raul, with Ozzy. Like, it's even happened on smaller scale with guys like even Brasilio. I don't know if you guys even remember this guy, but last year, like, the dude came in and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna give you a big shot, all this stuff," and then a week later, cut. You know, the Sounders are really cutthroat from the bottom all the way up to the top. Like, and especially with your best, I mean, your best ever. This is the statue. Nico's the statue of this club. So to even do that to him, bro, it's crazy, man. I'll do a couple more of these chats here. Jordan Rusnak aren't bad players. They just can't be star players if we want to win MLS Cup. And I absolutely agree. I mean, look at our trophies. Was Jordan Morris the best player on the team? Was he the main attacker on the team for any of the trophies that we won? Crickets. He was not. And Jordan has not gotten any better. Any better since those years. In fact, he's probably slightly gotten a bit worse. Like eye test wise, at least. But we're paying him now to be our main guy, and we're wondering why we can't get over the hump to be a consistent Supporter Shield challenger and MLS Cup challenger. Those three look so good when we play. I mean, yeah, dude, it's like you have Kent and Rusnak with Ferreira, and Ferreira I thought was okay, like solid today, and then you take Kent out, and then you put Rothrock and Pedro in, and it's like fucking Pedro, Rothrock, and like, damn, man, just get them all three together and play them over and over again. Like, bro, even if it doesn't work right away. For example, Kent was not very good today. Kent, obviously, I thought he grew into the game a bit, but to start, he was horrendous. Lost the ball a lot. Okay, but we have had a sample size of a year and nearly a half of Rothrock playing almost every single minute and just at best being a guy who can come up with a goal every now and then, but not consistently affecting every single game. So who cares if Ryan Kent had a poor 25, 30 minutes to start this game when he's coming off a year layoff of not even playing and he's coming to a new team, a new country? Like, bro, give him some time to get locked in. Shout out Oklahoma Kid again. Seriously, Oklahoma Kid, you are absolutely a legend, beloved on this channel. Brian's ego is why they moved on from Nico Rowell. Listen, I don't even have a problem with us moving on from them. It's just the way that we did it. And also, why not bring Nico back for dirt cheap? Seriously, what's every team, every fucking championship team's got that cool unk off the bench. Even look at as all the way at the top. Look at the Champions League winners from last year, Real Madrid. Cool Uncle Luka Modric coming off the bench, getting game time in. Like, that stuff helps. It does help. Like, it's a bit underrated. Even like it's in similar vein to the Kim Ki-hee signing. And look how massive Kim Ki-hee has been since he's come in. This is interesting. What is Craig's best move to date? Oh my gosh. It's hard to say because they've all kind of gone to shit a little bit. The only one that hasn't like completely flamed out is Kent. Because, I mean, Ferreira, mid. Ariola, injury, so you never really know what could have happened. Pedro, inconsistent, looking like a bit of a bust right now. So, honestly, it might be Kent or bringing back Kim Ki-hee. That literally might be his best move to date. Honestly. I can tell you what his worst move was. His worst move was absolutely not selling Leo Chu for $4 million. That to me is the worst. So I can tell you what's the worst. Yeah, and then this too, exactly. Kent is Craig's best move, but I don't even know how involved he was with that move. Kent talked about in an interview, like the biggest reason is he played with Andy Rose. They played, I think, for Coventry a bit. So that's how he even knew about us, and that's who he was talking to mainly. So actually, yeah. Trading Atencio. That is his best move. 100%. Yeah. Because that actually was a good trade, but again, that's more of like a you know what? I'm not gonna discredit it. I was gonna say that's more of like a layup trade. Like, obviously anyone with a brain could accept that, but he did it. He actually made it happen. So good on Craig. Exactly. I mean, this is kind of just sums up the team perfectly. And I think I'm going to end it on this point here. We have the most stacked supplemental pieces, but we don't got that main guy. When you look at our lineup, we have a solid goalkeeper. We have a very, very good center back paired next to a solid center back. We have a solid left back. You know, our right back, for the most part, is solid. That double pivot is incredibly solid. Very, very good. Probably one of the best in the league. And then the attackers like Kent, Pedro, Albert, those just seem like guys who are just supplemental to the one main guy, you know? Like our team is just full of guys that are good but not great at this point. You know, that remains to be seen. We could see Pedro take the next step. We could see Kent get more integrated and more game time, and he could take that step. But ultimately, we are a team of just supplemental players right now. And this is how you end up with scorelines in games like this, where it's a big game and you need that marquee player to put you over the edge. But it unfortunately cannot be done. And listen, guys, I think I'm going to end the stream here. It's been an awesome stream. Very fun talking to you guys. I appreciate all of you guys. Seriously, you guys make this stuff so fun. Honestly, everyone in this chat who contributes and brings up different topics. I love you guys very, very much. And thank you. Listen, stay tuned because there is technically a possibility that this could happen depending on the Club World Cup. So stay tuned. Stay tuned with our content. Listen, we got a lot of stuff on the way, especially for Club World Cup. We're going to go absolutely ham for you guys. If you haven't already, please leave a like on the stream. It really does help out the channel. If you haven't checked out our membership program, that would be absolutely awesome as well. At the very least, if you could just please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That would be absolutely amazing. And thank you, all you guys, for tuning into the live stream. I love you, RGTV fam. Have a very, very blessed night.